Almost 90% of the Euphrates flow comes from Turkey, the United Nations says. To ensure Syria's fair share, Turkey in 1987 agreed to allow an annual average of 500 cubic meters per second of water across its border. But that has dropped to as low as 200 in recent months, engineers claim. Inside Syria, the Euphrates flows mostly along territory controlled by semi-autonomous Kurdish authorities, whose US-backed fighters have over the years wrested its dams and towns from the Islamic State group. Turkey, however, regards those Kurdish fighters as linked to its outlawed Kurdistan Workers Party, PKK, and has grabbed land from them during Syria's war. Syria's Kurds have accused Ankara of holding back more water than necessary in its dams, and Damascus in June urged Turkey to increase the flow immediately. But a Turkish diplomatic source told AFP Turkey had never reduced the amount of water it releases from its transboundary rivers for political or other purposes. Our region is facing one of the worst drought periods due to climate change, and rainfall in southern Turkey was the lowest in the last 30 years, this source said. Analyst Nicholas Aras said Turkey did hold leverage over Syria and Iraq with the huge Ataturk Dam just 80 kilometers from the Syrian border, but it was debatable whether Ankara wanted to use it. That would mean international complications for Ankara, both with the United States and Russia, a key Damascus ally across the table in Syria peace talks. The easier, and more frequently utilized, water weapon that Ankara uses is the Aluk plant that it seized from the Kurds in 2019, Aras said. Fresh water supply from the station on another river has been disrupted at least 24 times since 2019, affecting 460,000 people, the United Nations says. Drought is coming. But Syria analyst Fabrice Balanchi said the drought did serve Ankara's long-term goal of asphyxiating northeast Syria economically. In periods of drought, Turkey helps itself and leaves the rest for the Kurds, in defiance and in full knowledge of the consequences, he said. Wim Zwijnenberg, of the PX Peace Organization, said Turkey was struggling to provide enough water for megalomaniac agricultural projects set up in the 1990s, a challenge now complicated by climate change. The big picture is drought is coming, he said. We already see a rapid decline in healthy vegetation growth on satellite analysis in both Syria and Turkey. A UN climate change report this month found human influence had almost definitely increased the frequency of simultaneous heatwaves and droughts worldwide. These dry spells are to become longer and more severe around the Mediterranean, the United Nations has warned, with Syria most at risk, according to the 2019 Global Crisis Risk Index. Downstream from the Tishreen Dam, the Euphrates pools in the depths of Lake Assad. But today Syria's largest freshwater reservoir, too, has withdrawn inwards. On its banks, men with tar-stained hands work to repair generators exhausted from pumping water across much further distances than in previous years. Agricultural worker Hussein Saleh, 56, was desperate. "We can no longer afford the hoses or the generators," said the father of 12. "The olive trees are thirsty and the animals are hungry." At home, in the village of Twihiniya, power cuts had increased from 9 to 19 hours.